Hello students, this is Professor Joseph Holbrook. We are dealing tonight with Chapter 5, which is on Geography, Demography, and Ecology, and Society. So let's dive right into it. Geography, Demography, Ecology, and Society, Chapter 5. So this is a picture of the globe. You might want to take a screenshot later on if we have time. We're going to try to name about 15 countries. I should play there's a funny video from the Jay Leno show in which he goes out on the street and interviews people about geography, and they have no clue. So anyway, we want to try to see how many of these countries we can guess. Geography is a social science focused on the spatial interaction of humans and their environments. The physical space. Why are cities located where they are? How does the environment shape culture? Why do only certain areas develop? Geographic literacy is very low in the United States. So why do you think Miami is located where it is? Does anyone have any idea? And how does the weather in Miami affect how we live? Let's play a little bit of Jay Leno and see how this turns out. I don't know if this is going to work or not. Maybe not. Yeah, I don't think it's going to work. Okay, let's go back to our PowerPoint. So what is one of the obvious ways that environment shapes our culture in Miami? Obviously, we live in air conditioning. If we have patios, they're usually screened in because of bugs and mosquitoes. We spend a lot of time on the beach, on boats. Those are ways that our geography shapes our culture. Demography is slightly different than geography. It's the study of the number and characteristics of a population. So one of the questions demography would ask is, why is a population increasing, or is it increasing? Or why is it decreasing? How is a population distributed among regions? What are characteristics of the population? The physical, mental, and cultural characteristics. Obviously, demographic studies of Miami would focus on the role of immigrants, Spanish-speaking populations, Creole-speaking populations, perhaps some Portuguese-speaking populations, people from the Bahamas, from the islands. We have a very diverse culture in Miami, and so Miami would be a great city for a demographer to study. There's also, within demography, there's the study of population growth. The death rate, the birth rate are important factors. The death rate has come down lower and worldwide in recent years due to improved standards of living and improved medical care. The birth rate is the most important factor determining world population growth. Both the U.S. and Europe's birth rates are declining. Why do you think that might be? Why would the U.S. birth rate be declining, whereas some countries in the developing world, the birth rate might be increasing? One factor would be the availability of birth control or the acceptance. Some countries that are highly Catholic might resist the use of birth control. Other countries that are very rural and you have lots of people living in the country, farming, may have trouble getting access to birth control. Those are some of the social and economic forces that could influence this. Also, Unlike a couple hundred years ago, in a rural society, uh, children are not an economic asset. They're an economic burden in modern society. It's very expensive to have a baby. It's very expensive to raise a child and send them to college. The world population was growing rapidly, has been growing rapidly since 1800. That's about a little over 200 years. Some of the reasons are a decline in birth rate due to better sanitation and health care, an increase in food and manufactured goods, increase in standard of living, unequal growth in developed versus undeveloped countries. I don't know if you've heard of the Malthusian Theory. Thomas Robert Malthus wrote an essay on the principle of population as it affects the future improvement of society in 1798. And some of his theses were that a population will always tend to outrun its means of subsistence because a population can increase quickly or geometrically, whereas food supplies, food production, will only increase slowly or arithmetically. And this leads to a law of diminishing returns. Malthus was popular for the idea that sometimes natural disasters have to happen in order to thin out the population. So he might think that some overpopulated countries, that disease, epidemics, pandemics might be a necessary evil to reduce the population to a sustainable level. I suppose this could be the view of the Black Death in Europe in 1334 that spread throughout Europe and killed 40% of the population of Europe, which had grown substantially before that moment through a period of agricultural growth. And then the Black Death of the plague thinned the population of Europe down. Ecology is a science concerned with the interactions between living things and their environment. Human ecology deals with how human societies adjust to their environment. It also applies biological science to problems examined by social science. Nature seeks an ecological balance. Nature changes very slowly over time. Modern society, with rapid technological change, causes rapid ecological change, which puts a strain on nature. We have several threats in nature. One is global warming, although there is controversy and clashing views about whether global warming is a normal weather cycle or whether it's caused by human societies. There's pollution, acid rain, loss of fertile soil, animal habitats. Hazardous waste disposal is a real problem if you don't have good facilities. The rapid migration of viruses, and of course we saw last year we had a huge scare with the Ebola virus, and it's still a problem in Sierra Leone in Africa. So here is our globe. Let's see if I can get a little bit closer. I think most of you can guess number one. That would be the United States. How about number two? A little bit, our neighbor to the north is Canada. Where is number three? Where is number oh, there it is. Number three is right here. That appears to me to be England. And number four, do you know this country? Can any of you guess? That's the former Soviet Union, which is now known as Russia. President Putin. There's a war going on right here between Russian-supported rebels in the Ukraine. I don't know if you've heard about that on the news. Number five, anyone want to care to guess that one? That's France. Okay, where's six? Six is over here. Anyone know what these islands are called? This is Japan. Over here is North Korea. Down here is Vietnam. And what else do we have? 7 looks to be Italy. 8 is been in the news recently. A group of ISIS fighters, Islamic State in Syria. Actually, we're in not Lebanon, Libya, and they killed 21 Coptic Christians from Egypt. So now Egypt is attacking ISIS along with Jordan. And number 9 is Sweden. Where is 10? 11 is South Africa. And 10, do you know 10? Have you been to Cancun? 10 is Mexico. So that's our little geography quiz. Let me try now to see if I can access YouTube. Wrong one. Let me see if I can change this to... I can't find the search. Oh, here it is. Let's try this one more time. Here we go. Jay Leno on geography. Uh-oh. Okay, Jay Leno. Jay Leno's not working. So anyway, it was a great idea, but we're going to stop here and we'll continue next with the following chapter. Thank you. Talk to you later. Good luck on the test.